Okay, we're starting to record again. This is a vlog on the Leggies, which I've done a bit more work than actually making too many photos. So this is a picture of the. You can move over just a little bit, over more behind me. That way. No, there. No, sorry, the other way. Yeah. Can you hear me? Oh, never mind. Anyway, so this is the leg in Blender in all the different pieces, and if you take a cross section through it, you'll see that I've got my human leg in there embedded in the free count leg. Hold on. What you don't see is also the kind of controversial bit is that my foot actually sticks out the back a little bit. Let's see. So we'll hold on. We'll do that thing again. All right. Anyway, so there's the human leg coming down on the inside, badly trimmed, and I've put in a sort of complicated liner that joins on to the back of the fur, as well as making all these pieces of fur individually. You can sort of see the pattern making for it all there. And these are these funny little triangles and tufts that, if we can see that along the side, these tufts sticking out my thighs, and especially around the knees. I decided to keep them all in, and so they are all produced as a piece of TPU that is sort of glued in there to poke out the sort of nodule. And also I ran out of black fur for this section and used some sort of cheaper fabric, tried to make the patterns interesting. And there it is. There's the sort of leg. So that's probably all there is to see in Blender. What we do now is have a look at the pictures. There we go. Right. Pictures. Where's he gone? What happened to him? Oh well, my friend's gone. Never mind. Did he go? Did he go? Let me just check the old social. Yeah, I appear to be the only person in here. Oh, I'm sure. Like, oh, yeah. What happened to you?
The battery went
Okay,
down.
yeah. Well, always be charging. Anyway, all right. So, you come along here and point to my ears or something. See if that works. Yeah, come a bit closer. Anyway, because I'm just about to do the photos. Yeah. So let me just prod that up there. Yeah. So the ears on the fursuit don't wiggle around. They're kind of like fairly stiff, unfortunately. So this is a picture of some of the fur being cut out. I sort of had this, ran out of good gray fur, and so ordered some kind of cheap teddy bear fur, which is interesting and shiny, and I've grown to kind of like it. This is the really complex pattern on the inside of the liner. Should have got more photos of this, but it's quite surprising. And then this is a picture of work in progress. Now, when you have so many pieces, there's that liner going. When you have so many pieces, you cut them all, and then you lose track of them all. And so I had to keep referring back to each exact piece on the Blender picture of the leg. There's another one. Yeah, no, we saw that one already. There's another one. There's a 3D printer happily printing out new sort of nodules. Not sure what I'm going to call them. There's a few there, and I sort of got better at printing them. It doesn't want to do like shallow surfaces either, so you almost always need to do things end on, and surprisingly, even though it's flexible, it doesn't wobble too much as it's printing. This is here we go. This is a picture of sort of gluing these nodules in. So there, you try and get them to poke out those what do you call it? Tufts a little bit. Oh yeah, you're pointing at them pretty well, and yeah, and you hot glue them in a bit, and that doesn't quite work. And so what I found I had to do in addition is sew a piece of like non-flex, non-stretchy fabric across them to like contain them in and push them in, and hold the two sides of the fur together so that the pokey out bit will maintain its shape. There's let's see. There's a bit more of this sort of trying to glue in these daggers and things. We'll see what it is on the outside in a moment. Eventually, at someone's hackerspace, managed to get the two pieces sewed together. Yeah, you can't rotate that, but there we go. There's the feeties. This is before any trimming happened. Yeah, we can lift the feet up and stuff, but I'm having to hold them up because there's no body yet. Interestingly, it turns out that the attention span of a normie on fursuits is about 5 minutes. So you bring it out to begin with. They're all exciting. You're trying on your head. And by the time you've actually like got the legs on, they're all bored and playing their computer games on their iPhones and stuff. So be warned, if you want to show off your fursuit, you have to get dressed first and then come in, because they'll get bored by the time you finish dressing. So there we go. This is working out at home. I've kind of started stuffing them with what's this sort of toy? I've found a really expensive, good grade of polyfill that I've put in. I'm surprisingly, I can tell the difference between the cheap and the expensive ones, even though they look exactly the same. And it's worth paying more to get something that's kind of more puffy and is going to be lighter. There's a picture of these tufts. So there's, if we just sort of look around, can you see the tufts? I don't know whether we can. Yeah, the tufts on the side. I should zoom in on this camera. Let me just see if I can zoom in on the camera. Let's see. So we zoom in. Okay. Whoa. Oh no. Zoom. Oh no, that's the brightness. Zoom. Zoomy. Yeah. Okay. Or fly. Yeah, you shouldn't be trying to do it live. Anyway. If I had full body tracking, I'll be able to point it out better. Anyway, yeah, we'll just go back and I'll just be off. Right, yeah, noisy. Nearly done. And I can show you what went on at Ferality, which of course was the excitement for the last week. Yeah, so that's what happens after you've trimmed it very carefully with the scissors. So hopefully it'll last. It's been I've got this gigantic suitcase, and I'm beginning to get concerned about how I'm going to pack it all in and carry it in one suitcase. So recently worked out how to sort of Tetris in the feet around the head without crushing too much. And I think the two leggies will go down in here, and now I'm starting to get very concerned about the tail. So I decided to skip the tail to begin with, because I was feeling a bit miserable after the Ferality with sort of post-con depression, and so I've started work on the body. And the first thing I did was stitch together this Godot. Let's see if we can see it on the back. Let's spin around and see the remind people. There's a surprising number of people who hadn't seen this because they only talk to my face. So there's the Godot logo on the back, and yeah. I always said I was going to save this sewing pattern till I was kind of like needed some cheering up, and so then I was sewing it together. People didn't sort of recognize this as being a bit of a warning sign that I was a bit miserable, and I guess that's about it for the video. So yeah, bodysuit's coming next. Assume I can get it done. I've got a couple of interns in the hackerspace who are not supposed to see any of this fursuit stuff because, I don't know, furries are a terrible idea. And we'll see how my life goes if everything goes wrong that way. Bye.